Good morning, America again. Well, I don't know what happens here, but you know, we live in a land where Facebook is not allowed, so I guess it's just going to happen from time to time. John Mickelson is back. I'll let everybody join. Craig Hardman is back. Chris Richey is back. Thank you. Les Ryan is back. We are talking about Bronze Wall Constructor Pro Brush. Let you boys all join us. Peter Thomas is here. Peter, the time has come. We are going to manufacturing. But I welcome your comments, yeah? I welcome your comments. Let's see who else is here. Bronze Wall Brush. I think it's going to replace the brush altogether because it just does everything at once. Albeit maybe it adds a little bit of weight to the brush, so we might have a look at, you know, people still use, like a traditional Constructor brush. It's a little bit lighter, you know. But the next step will be something else. We may be able to mold this all in one. I'm going to have a look at that. Yes, I will look at that. Bob Kavnar is back. Boom. Alright, so there's two things I'm going to talk about today. One, Constructor with Hydro Blade with Bronze Wall Brush. We're going to pre-assemble it. So we're not looking for you to fiddle and fart ass around with it. We know that's not really convenient for you as Americans, and it's got a unique end cap bristle structure. So these are going to be, there'll be a Velcro pad under here. Yep, so these will peel off. You can see how hard that is to peel off. So your bronze will. Now, Peter Thomas has been testing this for 4 months. And in that 4 months, he has only changed the pad 4 times. So we have a winner, right, on that. What worried me is the reason we were going to go towards steel wool bristles is that I didn't want a brush that had a built-in consumable. I'm not really a big fan of built-in consumables. Like, you know, I think that we should do our very best to make you something that lasts as long as it can, because the whole idea is your efficiency, the efficiency of your money, efficiency of your time, not how much money can we get from you by making you inefficient so that we can make more money for ourselves. Yeah? Who's that? That is Peyton Robinson. I don't think I've seen you here before. Bob Kavnar, give me a buzz. Let me know if you're ready to come live or if you want to come live. Tell me about this. Please give me comments. Right, keep me going, because I've got to try and think about what to say if I don't have comments from you guys. The other thing we're talking about is brush mount. You've seen us manually put one of these together, right, where we actually assembled it out of parts. The first one, I think, maybe had 20 parts, and then we rationalized it back to 7 parts or something like that, but now it's back to 3 parts, right, or 4. A lever, a cylinder, a finger tightener bolt, and a single piece. So the idea of brush mount is that you can then have multiple brushes and look after them by having a place. So whether you bolt it to the wall, the roof, sorry, of a van, or the wall of a van, like that, or you could put it in your shop and say this is where we keep our brushes. Then once you have it like that, you would then open that, and then when you're finished with a brush, because you want multiple brushes, like 12 inch, 16 inch, whatever, then I tighten that. So then you can store your brushes like this. And if you have brushes that are not reach it brushes, you can use Apex, yeah, or anything like that. And then you can store your, for example, this is a little gardener brush, or you could have something like your squeegees. If you have squeegees that you want to put on the wall, then you would get something like this, what we called the widget, and a rhino tip, and then with the widget and the rhino tip, you can then put squeegees in a place on the wall. Can you retrofit? No, we're not going to retrofit. The reason, Bob, is that everybody has a problem, you know, with the end caps and things like that. So we just want to make the brush. What we don't want is a whole lot of, I had a problem with the bronze wall brush. We want everybody to be able to take it out of the box and use it directly and effectively exactly as we design. And then if there's a problem with what we put out, we can then look at that. But I don't think there's going to be. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Peter Thomas has been working with me directly on it. He hasn't taken it off the glass. He's used it every day. So yeah, the brush mounts are great, right? So once you see this one, now I'll tell you what I'm going to do. July 4, I think the Beast has its place, but I've got a feeling that this may take the place of the Beast. I got a feeling this may end up being the universal brush. I've always said you can't have a universal brush, but I got a feeling that if you know you've got bronze wool on the glass and you know there's a mark that you can't see on the second story, then you know it's going to come off with bronze wool, then why would you use any other brush? You like the 4 long bristles. Oh, you can see what I've done, right? I was going to make this 2 inches wide, Peter, but I've changed my mind. I completely think we got it right. Yeah, the beast being a natural fiber is that you start bashing around a natural fiber, it's gonna break down. And we're bringing out a 100% boar's hair brush, like a 10-inch one, a little one, because they're a little bit heavier, and we've got 2-inch bristles on it so that they flip and flop, so they actually work like proper boar's hair brushes, like proper boar's hair. We're using the side of the bristles. So we're gonna bring out a Tucker dual trim, like an easy brush. We're going to bring out a Tucker with boar's hair in the middle, and we're going to bring out 100% boar's hair for the guy who doesn't want to, master the art of Constructor Pro Brush. But for the Constructor Pro Brush, we're going to bring out this little baby here. Yeah. No, I didn't, Chris. I've been busy. What you could do is go online, Chris, just go to store.futureofcleaning.com. In fact, I've actually forgotten, I didn't write it down. But if you go to store.futureofcleaning.com, just choose everything from there, push the button pay, and it's done. It makes life much easier for me. Okay, so there you go. Other than that, I'll have to ring you later, Chris. Yes, Bob Kavanagh. Oh my God, I'm just not used to glasses, Bob. We're on tropical storm watch? Dang, so what's that going to be? Like you're going to end up with tornadoes and stuff like that? Yeah, Liz. Yeah. For those that like guys like you, Laz, where you've got like hundreds of Constructor brushes and you're a proven tinkler, and Bob Kavanagh is too as well, by the way. Bob Kavanagh's done a lot of feedback, taking it apart, putting them back together. I will do you a deal, right, so that you don't have to rebuy everything. Okay, so I think that's really what you're talking about, Chris Richey, is what belongs in a private message, not a live broadcast. If I can ask you just to deal with me privately on that, I'll deal with your situation. Like I'll remember as soon as, or just send me a text what it is that you want again. Okay. Yeah, lots of water. Now let me go through Hydroblade again, because these are the issues. We're working towards the use more water, use less time principle. And Chris Richey, it was the one who first blasted me with that, right? So credit to Chris. So it took us a while to work out how to get more water on the glass. So I didn't really understand what he was saying before that. But here's the logic. Before Reach It, there were only two pencil jets, or 2 fan jets. We brought out the first 4-jet brush, right? So now you can see Tucker has gone to 4 jets, Unger has gone to 4 jets. While they go to 4 jets, we're going to 30 jets, because we can clearly see that there's an effect, or we know from the experience of Hydroblade and from the cannons that we could create what we coined as the phrase of a water squeegee. Now, what we realized with 1 jet every inch is that those jets would hit the glass and then they would create a shape, and that those shapes would join up. So each jet was only responsible for rinsing 1 inch. But we also realized that if we could put those closer together, that they would join up more accurately, and if we could give them laminar flow, then they would behave differently than if they're a little squirt out of a hole in a tube. So you'll see guys drilling holes in aluminum tubes and plastic tubes and stuff like that. Like we went down all that route, and we found that that doesn't give you the laminar flow, which gives you the water squeegee, which makes sure that you've got the brush working and the glass turning from hydrophobic to hydrophilic, which is the goal. Oh, that's amazing, Bob, because you had a lot of guys who had moved away from Constructor, right? So, yeah, I think we cracked it. And so with this, there's 2 molds. Like anytime you make something in plastic, there's always 2 parts. You got to balance the mold. So you always make 2 of everything, or you make two things that are around the same size. So in our case, we made two in the mold, which has the actual hydro blade, you know, barrels. These are in multiple parts. I don't know if I've got the multiple parts here, but this is a hydro blade, and I don't know, this is probably glued together. But the barrel, this barrel part you see, that sticks out as much as it goes in. So on the inside it's the same, and so you get this like rifle effect of the water. And so in one mold, every second hole is blocked at the bottom, not at the top. So it looks like they're all open, but every second one is blocked. In the other mold, every one is open. So when we give you now we've, in fact, all brushes up to 20 inches, so 12 and 16 inches are coming out with every second hole open, and we give you a second hydro blade with every hole open. And then in the 20 inch and 24 inch, we give you every third hole open, but what we did to do that is we took the every hole open hydro blade and we put glue in there in 2 out of every 3 holes. So we open, glue, glue, open, glue, glue, open, glue, glue. So if you want to go back to 1 and 3 open, like the cannons were, one jet per inch, then you just need to get every hole open and put a dab of glue, preferably something that's ABS compatible, so that it actually blocks and holds, because this is made of ABS plastic, and if you use ABS glue, it welds that glue. Can you hear that noise in the background? This is the sound of China, somebody jackhammering. Right, let's see what we're talking about. So I've done all my talking. Who's here? Harrison's here. Hydro blade converter, my guy's back. Hi Perry. Logan Wilder. Logan Wilder. Okay, so let's just put credit where credit's due. In 2011, I produced this brush. This brush here. It wasn't this one, it was a black one. Logan Wilder, and I always thought that we're going to put fittings. So if you look at a Gardner brush, this is a Gardner brush. We were brand new in the industry. We saw the Gardner brush and said, well, Gardner must be the benchmark because they're the biggest, well-known, focused water-fed. Like Unger's not focused on water-fed. Unger is a janitorial company that also supplies water-fed. Gardner is a water-fed company. Right, so I thought, well, out of respect, they've probably done all their research, which they had, but I've worked out why they do what they do. So, oh no, this is one of ours as well. But Gardner is very similar to that, because we have the slot on it, right? So we based it around the shape of the Gardner and the size of the Gardner, and we changed all the bristle patterns to change that, and we put 4 jets instead of 2 into the mold. And we put this slot here in the top, and Logan Wilder was the first guy to put a rinse bar on one of these brushes. We've got a photo of it somewhere, and he actually put a rinse bar squirting the water up there. So that's going back to 2011. We then developed something together which didn't work, which was called some sort of connected thing, right? That wasn't so good. We kind of lost on that one. And but Logan's a smart dude. All right, let's see what else. Les Ryan. This was with me yesterday. Hydro blade job done in half the time and only 220. It is worth dollars. That's great. Love my hydro blades. What's next to save me more time? Bronze wool. Shot some waterproof pole work done with my drone. I'm looking at that. That's fantastic. Okay, how much water? So this is a really intelligent question. How much water is called less? How much water flow or flow rate or volume is called more? Like a 12-inch constructor with every jet open, including the 2 center jets, has got, there's 13 jets in each one of these, right? These are the hydro blades. You can see them joining together there. So that's one, there's 2 hydro blades kind of thing. 2 of those modules in a 12-inch, 3 in a 16-inch, 4 in a 20-inch, 5 in a 24-inch. So in this sense, this has got 26 holes open plus 2 in each end cap. There's 30 jets open. So we're going from 4 to 30, right? So how much more water? A shitload more water, right? How much less time? A shitload less time. Like you guys say crap load, right? But we say shit when you say crap. So shit doesn't mean crap. Crap is a worse word for us, I think, than shit. There you go. Johnny's here! Just shaved your... I can't read this. Oh, I just shared your video. Please Jeez, it's saved. Anyway, so here you go. You're going to use a lot more water. Well, actually, flow is a constant. So the rules of water dynamics, how water works, is that flow is a constant at any point. So you get all the way, if you get all the way to here, the flow is a constant regardless of how many jets you've got open. You've got 2 jets open, right, like a pencil jet, then the velocity of the water is going to be crazy fast. If you have 30 jets open, then the velocity of the water is going to be slow. So what we have to do is, get you with buffer tanks, pumps, or less jets open or more pressure, right? But at the end of the day, well, here you go. This is it. My guys have double productivity with Hydroblade. That's the story. That's the Reach It story. Now, this is what we're going to do. We're not going to sell, I'm very close to doing it. I haven't done it yet, but we are not going to sell Constructor Brush to non-Reach It community members. That's where we're heading to, because it's you guys who have supported us with the polls. We just got a guy who was going to buy from us, went to buy from somebody else, went and bought another brand of pole, and then rang us up and said, can I put a Constructor Brush on it? And the answer is going to be no in the future. Because it's the profit from the poles and the pure water system that gives us the ability to fund and develop this, which is going to be a really cheap product. But it's actually this really cheap product that creates like double your productivity. So encourage everybody to buy Reach It, because by supporting Reach It, you support the development of the new tools. Even though, like the guys like Chris Richey, like he bought the first, where we had it as a kit set Constructor. I mean, it's come a long way, right? Compared to what it was when we first released it. Well, we've got other things that we're going to bring out that will also need to come a long way. We're working on a gutter brush right now. Hopefully we'll have something out for autumn. For fall. You guys call it fall. Alright, Art has just shared the video. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting video. Alright, yes. Yes, that's what I do. I actually, Chris Richey, you sing my song. I say to people, like, somebody who's using Reach It with a Constructor Brush and has mastered it, like there's no doubt that it's had its problems on the way through, and I appreciate the guys who have stuck with it, and I appreciate the guys who have come back and reloaded Hydroblades into it. But when you get the ability to provide a faster service, it is like comparing the guy who went down to the supermarket and hired a carpet cleaning machine, and he fills it up with hot water from the customer's tap, and then he cleans the carpets, and then he says to her, hey, you can't walk on them for 12 hours because they won't be dry. And you compare that to the guy who turns up with a great big truck mount with loads of hoses and steam and stuff like that, and he's in and out of your house in 35 minutes, and he says you can walk on it now because it is dry. Like, if those two people were the same price, which one would you choose? Now, if the guy who did it faster and left the carpet dry and no risk of mold and mildew and no water in the felt or the rubber underneath, if he was 50% more expensive and he explained that benefit, how many people would he win over with his better story? And the answer is he will win his market share with a better story, working faster at a higher price. And that's what we want our industry to go towards that. We don't want Bucket Bob running our agenda, yeah? So, this is going to be a $199 brush. Right? There's a couple of things I want to do. One, I think I deserve my margin. Two, I want to make sure that the only people that buy it are people that are serious about it in this stage, because there's still maybe some ideas. We've got ideas about whether this should have some angle on it, whether it should have some curve on it. We still want that feedback. So the guys who are going, oh, I want it, they don't want any changes to it, then we're still not at that point yet, because we've still got ideas that are still not mature, and there's no real way for us to get them mature. But from all of the feedback to and fro, we have 12 guys that we work with in a prototype group, and we've talked it all through, and we all agree that we're going to stay with this. It's a 40mm pad. It just saves all of the benefits of the Constructor Brush and introduces the benefits of the bronze wool. So this is going to be a $199 brush. I will put it up online, if Harrison's still here, we'll put it up online in the next hour or two, and the only people that will know it's there will be you guys. Now, how I tell you that is I'm probably going to add it to this thread. So if you come back later on tonight or in the morning or something like that and you scroll through to the end of the thread, I will add the link for the 12-inch Constructor. It'll only be 12-inch in the first instance, but a 12-inch Constructor with bronze wool, and we'll include a load of bronze wool pads for you, so it'll be a complete deal for you. Okay. Yeah, we'll make sure you've got extra bronze wool pads. I'm not really. Then we're going to ring the guys who make the bronze wool, and we'll do a deal with them so we can buy bulk. Right. That's something we could talk about, Bob, because we may need to cut it up in America. I don't really want to buy it in America, ship it to China, cut it up, and then ship it back to America. So that might be something we could do a deal between you and me on. If you could have, bring some person in locally who could cut it up for us, if you're interested. And I'll do a contra on you, on all your brushes and everything. We can run a debit credit together. Something. Yep. Could be something. I mean, you might have a relative, because you might have, university student kids in your family, your extended family, or in Gracie's family, and we just give them, $10 an hour to chop up, 50 pieces an hour or something, and then we just chop up a bunch of rolls, put them in bags. George is here. George, look what I'm showing people, buddy. I'm showing people the bronze wool Constructor brush. Look at that. It is a piece of art, man. It's got hydroblade. It's got bronze wool in it. It's been tested for 4.5 months and survived. Yeah. All right. So we're going to put this up for $199. I'll put the link in this thread tonight, your time. It's morning time, my time, right? I'll just show you. That's my view right now. All right. So then the second thing, so you know what else is coming, is have a look at this. This is brush mount, and I am going to do the great brush mount giveaway on July 4th. I'm going to give away one brush mount to every customer, right? I might have to give it, it may have to have a little bit of freight on it, something so that it can actually go through the store as a transaction, right? So it might be 1 cent or something, right? But it's going to be the great brush mount giveaway. I'm going to give away one to every, I have allocated 400 of them. They're $14.95, and I've allocated 400 of them in my great brush mount giveaway. What do you reckon? Is that a good idea? Is that amazing? One per customer. And we're going to spot one per delivery address, one per email address. Like, we're going to make sure that there's only, please only make it one. Don't try and work the system, because we will be looking for you. So, and then if you get a chance, or when you're in the store, of course, if you see the merit in it, then of course you're going to end up buying more, and that's why we want everybody to have at least one, right? So it's going to be one per customer. But if you belong to a franchise organization, you could let them know to look out for this. But they're in production now. For the great brush mount giveaway, for this is a 21-day delivery, because these are just in production now. So it'll be 14 to 21 days. Let's not overpromise. I will get them to you as fast as possible. But we'll have the rest of the brush made. We'll have all of the end cap bristles put in, everything like that. Yeah, Johnny will find you. Johnny will find you. We've already tracked a few people, because we have free shipping on everything right now. We might change that a little bit. But we've got a bunch of guys who just keep coming in for $6 and $7, so we're just going to knock them out at some point. You can only do it for so long. Todd Rees is here. G'day, buddy. There's a couple of things I'm showing people. The bronze wool brush. Look at that. Bronze wool Constructor brush with hydroblade. Man, has this thing come a long way. Bob Kavnar's got a bunch of guys working for him. He's close to 7-figure business. If he's not this year, he's scheduled to be a 7-figure business this year in window cleaning. And he has just written on here that they doubled the productivity of his guys. He had a whole lot of Constructor brush. He supported us really well over the years, right, as we brought Constructor brush through. But his guys have all come back to Constructor brush and doubled their productivity. That is just beautiful, right? Alongside that, we have brush mount, right? This is Reachit's wall brush mount, which is compatible with everything from a Constructor brush. Whoops, sorry. So you can put a Constructor brush on the wall of your vehicle, or you can hang them on the roof if you have a van, and you can have them in the store as well, because there's a place for everything and everything in its place. That's the way it rolls. But if you have a squeegee, right, you'll also be able to grab a rhino tip and then put your squeegees in the same places. So you're able to roll things around that are special, or you want to just make sure that they've got a place. use up the airspace. That's what I'm trying to think, is that there's just places in a van or places on the back of the window or something like that. Maybe you'll put a board down so you can screw these on and then use the back of the window and the pickup, not all of it. Yes. Jorge. Adriana, how are you, sweetie? Yes. Big Perry dog. Okay, see you, buddy. See you, Bob. Hey, Bob, come back in sometime and let's schedule it through private message, or beam you in and bring you in as we'll do some talking. Yeah. Okay, sweet. So you've seen the 2 new things for today. I'm excited. July 4th is going to be a big sale. Well, not a big sale on Reach It stuff, but a big sale on these accessories. Also, we have over 1,000 items in our storage in PA and California, and a little bit in Chicago, and we want to clean it all out. So we're talking with Harrison how to run. We might run an auction July 4. Yep. And see if we can just roll that out. We'll probably start everything at $1 and let everybody go mad. And then maybe we might add freight for that, so that if it goes for $1, we still don't have to pay all the freight. But basically we want to empty out our warehouses and reload it with the new stock, because we've had some stuff in there from the days we used to do all the shipping for WCR directly from our warehouses in America, and for 2015 and 2016 until we broke up. Yeah, and so there's just loads of stock in there that we had there for them. So we just want to clean it all out and start again, loading up the warehouses for us, which we're actually doing now. So those of you who know logistics and product management, we've got new SKUs. All the new products are going in on the new SKUs. Then we've got the old SKUs. We're going to take the old SKUs out. Julian Pierce is here. Matthew Martinez is here. This is good. All right. See you, Bob. Thanks for joining in. So, it's going to be the great brush mount giveaway, which can also be used to store squeegees, right? Or it will be able to be used to store old brushes, like broom style brushes, yeah, like that. So you'll be able to screw this to the wall. It's got 6 holes, so you can screw it to the wall, or you can screw it to a ceiling, yep, like that, or a wall, like that. And of course, your pride of place brush to be cared for is with side to side the Constructor bronze wool brush with Hydroblade. There you go. So, pretty excited about that. What other questions have you got for me today? Because that's my promotion. We are doing a great wall brush mount giveaway July 4. I'm going to give away 400 of these. 400, one by one per person. So we're pretty excited about that. For free, right? So you've all got one. Once you've got one, I know you'll get addicted, so you'll want more. You may even buy more on the day. Yep. Alright, we're in PA. PA, it's not a warehouse that you can actually go into. Like, we use distribution houses. If you imagine it like Amazon, then you can't actually go in and pick something up. But we can, if you wanted to help and you're in PA or somewhere and you wanted to help us, it would be much nicer for us and possibly cheaper for us to be able to get some of that stuff out into somebody's shed and then just use USPS from somebody who's friendly. So if you're interested in helping us in that way, if you've got some downtime, through the summer break, then we would be interested in doing some contra deal with you on that, right? Because we just, at some point, we're just going to get some of this stuff out of that warehouse somewhere, right? Something pole. Yeah, the pole holder. The pole holder is something that I'm working on. What we don't know in my thinking, I'll tell you what my thinking is right now. Whether to make a pole case that we supply the pole in, that then becomes a pole holder. I think that sounds like more efficient. We can make a fantastic, hard plastic case. Then, so step one, that looks after the pole. But if you have a mini, and let's say we only do it for the mini to start with, then if you have a mini, then you have a plus A, then you have a plus A and a plus B and a plus A and a plus B and a plus C, or plus A and 2 plus Bs. Then all of a sudden this delivery case, becomes really high volume. And do we have a case that holds mini plus A plus B plus B, or plus A plus B C? or do we only have a case for the Mini? You see what I mean? So there's just some, you go at some point you get this epiphany. You have all these options, and you say this could work, that could work, this could work, and then somebody will say something, or I'll think of something, and it'll say, aha, I got it. You know, maybe for example we'll have, you know, cases that have a male-female relationship, you know, like a slot like that. You know what I mean? So you can just slide the cases together, and then if they're a case that bolts onto the side of your vehicle, then how do you open and close it, you know, in an efficient way so that it's able to be used easily to put your pole back in and take your pole back out, blah blah blah. So if you've got ideas on that, I'm all ears. You know, I'm ready to listen on that. I haven't beamed anybody in today. I've done all the talking. Who wants to come in? Who wants to join me today? Ah, you're on the border of New Jersey and PA. So you're in Chris Cartwright territory and Lambrinides brothers territory, somewhere up there. Great. Let's see who's here. Buddy Shirk, Peter Tom, John Mickelson, there's Ryan, Julian Pierce, Todd Reese. I'm going to try this. If this doesn't work, I'm going to try and beam you in, my man. And if it doesn't work, then you will need to go to... you're either on an iPad, computer, and therefore you can't join us. So it's basically iPhone, I think. And then you have to allow Facebook in your camera and microphone settings. Let's see if we can beam you in. I got some, you know, if you think about it, over the last 6 years, we've got thousands of customers. So we're going to reach out to everybody and let everybody tell their story. That's the game plan. Now, some people want to tell the story live, like I'm trying to do with Todd now, and other guys are going to send us videos. And so what we're going to do is have the camera pointing at the screen, let the video run, and then we can talk about the video and talk about that. So we've basically got this multiple ways of doing interactivity. For example, if I had my shit together, then I would make a video on this, on how the brush mount works, and then I would slide to the side and play the video, right? But we are interviewing some videographers and photographers to join our team, so we should have a full-time person managing all this. Yeah, all right. Todd couldn't join me. Paul Rawson. Johnny Alden from the UK. I've seen Johnny around. Louis Chavez is here. A bunch of guys in here. That's good. So what we're showing, guys, like, just so you know, because you're joining me, you probably don't know what I'm doing. I'm talking bronze wool brush, right? So this is bronze wool Constructor brush with Hydroblade. Look at that. That's a work of art, right? That's come a long way. By the way, one of the other things, Chris Topher is here. One of the other things that some people say, oh, how do I get more flow, right? Because obviously you're not really talking flow, you're talking velocity. How do you get more velocity, right? There are 3 ways to do it. 1, increase the pressure, right, at source. So add a booster pump or a delivery pump, but basically increase pressure. Number 2, reduce resistance. So one of the things that is resistance is long runs of rhino tube. So you can go from rhino tube to rhino hose. Rhino tube is 5/16 OD, outside diameter. Rhino hose is 5/16 ID, inside diameter. So you can run the water, you know, you can run water with less resistance through a hose that big compared to a hose that big, right? So you would reduce the length of hose, take hose off a reel because there's a circumferential friction. Water always wants to go straight and you're just telling it to go round corners all the time, round and round and round and round and round. That's reducing your available pressure. So basically all hose off a reel, shorten the hose, definitely shorten the tube. If you can only shorten one, shorten the tube, but you still want a working zone tube to go up the pole. And then the third one is reduce the number of jets. So one of the ways to do that with Constructor with Hydroblade is to take this fitting off here and just add a straight push fit. I don't think I've got one on my bench. Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. And my nose to glass, right? So you could go back to this layout here, right? That layout there. So this will take the water in and run it around Hydroblade only, so you're isolating, you're not using these 2 end jets. I'm going to re-engineer these and make them a little bit smaller so they don't use so much water, but right now I don't have an option. So if you've got loads of water that you can, when you scrub into the corners, you're rinsing the corners out at the same time. So it is worth having these connected, these middle ones connected. But if you don't have enough pressure at the last point to get the velocity of the jets through, then you can basically reduce the number of jets by doing this. You can change your hydroblade out from being every jet open to every second jet open, or every second jet open to every third jet open. And ultimately you might say, okay, I've got my wall brush mounts, so I'm going to have a high flow, low flow brush, so you'll end up with 2 Constructor brushes. The idea of Constructor brush was never that you were going to change the brush directly for a job, but that you would design your brushes so you would be able to name them and use them accordingly. So you'd say, okay, I have a high flow 12-inch bronze wool brush, or I have a low flow 16-inch regular clean Swift brush, something like that. One of the other things that I've seen one guy in the UK did really cleverly, he actually took this top row of bristles out because he didn't have a lot of clearance for the water, like the water's only coming this far, right? So the water was coming a little bit. And so he just, rather than this interfering with this top bristle when it's splaying, he took this top bristle out of his brush. And so he's only running with, if we said this is channel 1, he's only running channel 2, but that gave him a lot more clearance for the second bristle to be the one that is the first one on the glass, on the upstroke, right? So you can reduce so if you imagine when you've got your garden hose and it's fully open and the water's just going out like that, but the more you squeeze it, or you have, like an adapter, and the more you tighten it, then the water will just go and piss out like that. Yeah. So the volume coming out of that hose at that point is exactly the same. Flow is a constant. Pressure and resistance are interchangeable, and the variable is the velocity of the water through the last resistance, or through the jets. Yeah. So if your water's dribbling out, right, then you need less resistance before it or more pressure before it. Yeah. All right, let's see what you guys have written. Glasses. Oh, yeah, see, that's clever. You could actually, we've seen guys do that before. So what TJ Gilbert did, he dropped some rubber cement in here and had a pin in the middle of it, then pulled the pin out and had a smaller hole, right? So I've seen guys do that before, or you could just fill it up with glue and then re-drill it, with a smaller drill bit. So there are ways to do it on the go. I will do it professionally in due course. It's on my agenda. It's actually on my agenda to sign off on today. We have the molds. We've just got to we've got to re-weld them and then make them all again. Bruce Stewart's here. Fantastic. Good to see you, buddy. That late night video for you. Okay. So there you have it. How to adjust to Hydroblade. The idea is to use more water, less time. And the other thing which we're going to head towards, so we've got some pump controllers coming from Spring Europe in the UK. We'll have some of them with remotes if you've got them. Jordan Rowland is here. Thank you for joining. And so basically we're going to get you into buffer tanks. Like, you don't need to buy ones that are industry specific. We're going to have a play with seeing if we can make one that's really cool. I've got a soft-sided one in action because I think that the real estate in the back of your pickup truck or your van is really important. So we're playing with making a soft-sided one. How are you, Jordan? Where are you today? Adelaide or Tasmania? Hobart. And then we're also going to make a hard-sided one, but again, little, a small one, and then a 12-volt, 5-liter pump or 1.5 gallon a minute pump. That should give you the boost that you want so that you can actually get a constant pressure. If we get the V11, you can see it with RHG or JRC as well. You can buy it from them. But if you get the V11 pump controller, you can actually set exactly what you want this, because remember with the pencil jet, you're going to take the brush off the glass, and so you want the water to piss out like at least 3 feet so that you don't have to be so accurate, but with Constructor, with Hydroblade, the brush stays on the glass, so you only need the water to squirt like 6 or 8 inches and you're fine. You see some photos where we've got it going Some guys have got it going like 3 feet. That's also fine in its own way, but not necessary. You only need it 6 or 8 feet because you're only rinsing from there to here, like a few inches. So, but with a V11 controller, you'll be able to say, okay, this is exactly how I want it. Then no matter how high you go, what resistance, whatever else, it just adjusts the number of amps to the pump motor to make sure that what you set on the ground is a constant. So that's why we're going towards that. So one step at a time, Freezing in Tassie at the moment. So you're heading up to Adelaide? Let's see if we can beam you in, Jordan. No, doesn't let me. You must be on an iPad or a PC. Anyway, if you join me with an iPhone someday, I'd love to talk with you because you've been a customer for a long time. I think Reach It's made a difference to your business. But if you go to an iPhone and you go to settings, privacy, allow Facebook in your camera and in your microphone, then we can actually invite you in and split the screen. All right, let me see. We've got to have at least one guest at this today. Buddy Shirk's here. Let's see if we can pull TJ Gilbert in. Yeah. I don't even know what this dude looks like face to face. I've seen your photos. TJ is one of those guys who's well opinionated. Aren't you, man? Yes, sir. Yes. We're going to have a good go at Australia this year. So when does that season turn on, you reckon? When does the buying season start? People start looking at new equipment. We better start advertising. So but those of you who get it, the world is round, right? If it's true, it's a sphere, actually. And in the northern hemisphere, you have summer, and in the southern hemisphere at the same time you have winter. And so when the northern hemisphere has winter, the southern hemisphere has summer. And it is true that when you flush your toilet, yours goes this way and ours goes that way, right? It spins the other way. So Eric is here. Welcome. Right. Okay. So yeah, I don't have good broadband. Damn. No answer. Hell, we got to get somebody in. Christopher, Wade Hunt. Let's see if Wade Hunt will join us. Got some good fellas here. What's the time? Let me look at my new watch. Boom. That's snazzy. Wink.
Hello.
Dude! Hey! Family time. I can hear them in the background, right?
Yeah, I'll go to a place that's quieter.
Dang, you gotta love having a little family, man. That's a good chapter of life. That is a good chapter of life right there. My oldest is 30. Can you believe that? 30. Maybe older.
No, I actually just got the Pro with the ABC the other day. Finally.
Very good. Thank you. Good decision.
And I got the goosenecks to go with it, and I tell you, they were a lifesaver today.
Oh, he's frozen. And all right, you're back. Say it again.
Yeah. No, I just said I got the goosenecks to go with it. I actually bought all the packs. Pardon me?
Yeah, good.
No, I got the goosenecks I got all the expansion packs.
Oh, you're a legend.
Well, the goosenecks were a savior today. I was doing third story, but I had to reach over a glass balcony that was 12 feet out. So
wow.
Right on a marina, so I didn't have much room to stand back either, so it worked great.
Fantastic. I mean, those are the things, like sometimes I see people, get sold. We had one today that we were competing against, and they got sold a Zero Pro 40 or something like that, and I go, you just don't even know what you missed out on because somebody's just sold you that it's got the same length or something like that. And Reach It has never been about just the length. Like, we're all about the efficiency and the challenges that you have as a window cleaner, right?
Oh yeah. No, and pardon me, my first pole was the Mini, and honestly, I was using Gardners up till then, and they're a decent pole too.
That's okay.
But the Mini's just so much more rigid, The Pro, the only thing I don't like about it is its fold down length, but I understand why it has to be as long as it is.
That's it. And that's why the Mini is a winner, right? Because everybody else's pole is using 6-foot sections, and 6-foot sections are a nightmare when you're doing residential or anything.
Well, and I use a repurposed ambulance for my business.
Wow, nice.
So my the old oxygen or stiff board cabinet that holds my poles, except the Pro won't fit in it. It's too tall.
Dang.
So actually, I was trying to rig up something to hang it decent in the back end. I got to work on it again this weekend, but pole holders would be fantastic.
Yeah, I think we got to get our shit together on that. But I think one of the things that I saw was actually using plastic guttering. You know, the guttering for the rain on the side of your roof. That you can buy that really cheap and then just screw that in. You know, that's the easiest simple solution that I've seen so far.
See, I was even thinking a couple chunks of ABS pipe with one side cut out.
Yeah, same logic.
With an end cap on the far one, just enough to grab it and cradle it so it can't fall out.
Yeah, even if you have it like 2/3 open rather than half open, so that it's kind of wrapping itself around.
Yeah, just so it can insert up in and drop down in.
Or if you thought about it, you could like if it was let me think if I can see something that'll work. But if you said, okay, here's that pipe, and you cut the where the handle goes, you cut here, and the other part you could have here. So you basically have to, when it's in, it can't come out, but when you want to take it out, you can pull it out, and then it's easier. You know, once you've taken it out 3 feet, then you can lift it out of the more open area or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but
good thinking.
And then no, the hydro blades, they're crazy,
making a big difference, right?
I'm used to the original Reach It brush, the little pencil jet one, which was nice having 4. Mine's the white one.
Right.
But no, then you went to the jets on the Constructor. Those were awesome. A little bit, I don't know. I know there was lots of complaints about them, but I don't know. In this business, do you have to be willing to tinker with stuff to make stuff work?
Yeah. Well, like, if nobody gave us the feedback, even though it was negative, you know, or critical, whatever, and some people emotional, but if nobody gave us that feedback, we can't, you know, we've done our very best. I don't think anybody would say we didn't try our hardest, you know, but there was a time 2 years ago and 3 months ago, this brush did not exist in any form. You know, it was only in my brain with a patent application waiting to be lodged. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Yeah. The other thing I found too, though, is it depends a lot on the user.
Yeah.
My old helper, he would be gluing jets in like 3-4 times a day, and I might have been gluing jets in 3-4 times a month. It just depended how hard you were on the like it glued together, potential to fall apart. So
that's it. I mean, I think we only just worked out when we went to Phoenix, Arizona. Like, I was a speaker at the International Window Cleaning Association at the national conference there this year, and then we're sitting there and I'm doing a demo, and I saw that they'd taken the screens out, and I saw that little frame, right? It's where you slide the screen up into, and there's a little frame there. And I thought, oh my God, there goes my enemy right there. Because we're always working out how come we couldn't break the cannons when we're bashing them against the frame and doing everything. We just couldn't break them. And then as soon as it got out there, all of a sudden they're getting their teeth broken. But we worked it out, like, only after we'd solved the problem, we worked it out that it was probably that frame. When they take the screen out, these were exactly there, you know?
Oh, and that makes sense, because those would be the screens that you have to pull from the inside of a house.
Yeah.
They don't pull from exterior. And actually what I found is if I turn my flow up more, I successfully wash those windows right through the screen. I scrub the screen, rinse it, and then I turn up the hydro blade and work and let it work its way down. It takes probably 3-4 times longer to watch that the screen wasn't in the way, but it does work. I haven't had a single complaint from a customer.
Fantastic.
Because usually you can get
That's
the bristles
cool.
pushed enough into the glass that it'll loosen up any dirt that's there. So
just agitate it, and then you've got the rinse. So how are you increasing the pressure through the hydroblade?
Well, I have, I have an RHG fill and go that has the controllers.
Yep. Great.
So it might mean I got to run back to the truck long enough to do it. But with the pump control, like for my 16s, we usually run at about 35 on the pump control. And if I want to get a good rinse through a screen, I'll just bump it up to like 60, which gives me more than enough flow to push right through the screen.
Great. And are you running, which pump are you running with that? Which pump has that got on it?
It's the little SureFlows.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that's it. We're importing into America right now that same pump controller. It'll have Wash It on it, you know, because we got the labels made a couple of years ago for Wash It. So it'll have Wash It on it. And then we're shipping those into Florida right now. And then we've also got the remote controls, the one-shot remote control. So we'll start pushing that out as a reach product, you know, to be able to for the guys who don't have my phone is going mental because I'm trying to run on 4G today so that I get a better signal, but obviously that means phone calls can come in and everything. So yeah, so we'll have that so that everybody who, like, you don't have to go buying like a pre-made system to be able to turn the pump controller up.
Oh, and see, I have the one shots on mine.
Smile on your face.
Yep. Am I unfrozen?
Come back, Wade. Comments on it.
Are we back?
Eric's here. I would like to see. I think we've lost you, Wade. I think we've lost you. Hang on, let me see if I can beam you back in again.